Fire, or the natural light of the sun, does something different with your brains than an LED.
Useful Thoughts video podcast.
Welcome to the Useful Thoughts video podcast. This episode is titled How Your Internal Monologue Changes Based Upon the Lighting in Your Environment. Seems to be a little bit complex, but it's actually quite simple. So, shadows dictate the rhythm of our self-talk, shifting from harsh clarity of noon to vulnerable whispers of a dim room. In this episode, I will investigate how high contrast glare triggers analytical scrutiny while soft amber hues dissolve ego barriers. Light isn't just visibility, it is the silent architect of every internal narrative that we create. So, have you ever noticed that you become a completely different person the moment that you switch the light on or off? It is not just your eyes adjusting, your entire inner monologue changes. Shadows are the silent architects of your thoughts, your mood, your emotions. So, how does lighting actually dictate the rhythm of your self-talk? The key word is atmosphere. And in every atmosphere, there's some kind of mystery. So, for example, a flickering candle may make you be more honest to yourself. More honest than a fluorescent light bulb. Fire, or the natural light of the sun, does something different with your brains than an LED. There is a hidden biological trigger in the way that contrast and glare reshape your ego. Of course, this has a lot to do with evolutionary psychology, since for millions of years we lived in caves and there was no such a thing as electric light. Today we are surrounded by electric lights everywhere, at home, at work, in public space, on the streets, and so on. And of course, when we look in our smartphones or watch TV, we see electrical light all the time. And electrical light is not natural light. It's artificial. And it has completely different waves of light than the sun or the fire has. Please understand that lighting is not just about visibility. Light is like a living creature that creates a feedback inside yourself. So instead of blaming your mood on your schedule, you might start looking at your light bulbs. Modern research suggests that the intensity of an environment's lighting is actually sculpting our inner monologue at real time. Imagine you are in an elevator and the light goes off. What do you think? Now, just one quick word. If you have come so far in this video, please give it a like to help with the audience. If you want to see me again, you may also subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support me, you can buy me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description. So, where was I? So, how does the biology of brightness work? Well, for example, high noon sunlight, as well as artificial cool light, they trigger cortisol, which triggers hyperlogical thinking. So if you want to think clear, get into a cool light or wait until high noon. Of course, bright lights forces an external focus, meaning if your environment is super bright, you are pretty busy exploring this environment with your eyes. However, if the environment is dim, you will more focus on yourself and on your close surrounding. There is a reason why candlelight dinners are romantic, because there's only one tiny source of light and maybe the candles on the other tables around you, but basically you just have one flame and the space around you is dark, and this will make you focus on yourself and focus on the one you're having dinner with. On the other hand, if everything is pretty bright, we will start judging our environment. We see things clearly, and in bright light, even the most beautiful things become very ugly. Think about an MRT. If you put a beautiful woman into an MRT and you take a picture, all you see is the skeleton and some muscles, which is ugly. Well, that was a funny example, wasn't it? But it's not only that too much light makes things ugly and makes you become judgmental. Also, when you are in a bright environment, you will not feel as safe as in a darker environment. Because there is so much visual impressions, danger could be anywhere. But you can also be afraid of the dark. If your environment is not safe and protected and it is dark, this can be very scary. More scary than the bright light. Because in the bright light, you will see the saber-toothed tiger approaching, not so in the dark. Darkness is only cozy when you feel safe, when you are in a cabin, in your room, in your bed, and it's dark, you will feel safe because you know that you are in a protected space. But if you are in an unsafe place and it gets dark, oh dude, imagine you taking a hike in the forest and the sun goes down and it gets dark and you have no idea where you are. Not such a nice situation, isn't it? Darkness can also trigger your primal instincts. The best hour of the day to meditate is the morning, because the morning light shifts your brain from analytical processing to narrative and emotional storytelling. I like to read books in the morning, actually, not at night. Also, when you are more emotional, you can detach a little bit from your duties. Don't think, I must do this, I must do that. So instead, try to think, I feel I need to do this, I feel I need to do that. When you do that on an emotional level, it becomes more natural. The worst thing you can do is watch blue light before you go to sleep. Meaning, don't use any screen, neither your cell phone nor your TV, because the blue light will make your brain go, and you can't sleep. The blue light will steal your ability for a good sleep. So do not look into your screens at least half an hour before you go to bed. When I think about all these contemporary ambient lights that there are available to buy, I can only wonder. So there is cheap LEDs everywhere. They are designed so you can create a smart home. It is not very smart to have so many artificial lights at home. They will steal your sleep. Do not buy these products. Do not buy an ambient TV or a smart light or anything like that. It's just not smart to use it. It is much better to buy a couple of candles or high quality daylight full spectrum LEDs than cheap bullshit. And that's it for today. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. Here are some other videos and playlists that you can watch. And as always, thank you for listening and take care.